that way. I still sometimes feel that way, like, what if nothing becomes of all this? Or what if what I'm doing doesn't actually make a difference to people? Okay, hello you all. So this is going to be part 2, and if you haven't seen part 1 of kind of my story of creating this channel, as well as just kind of how it ties into my passion for homemaking, then I will link the part 1 down below, because you'll need to see that first to kind of understand the story. But anyway, where I left off last week, I had just had this discovery in one day of where it was that I wanted to take my channel, who it was that I felt God had called me to try to be an encouragement to, try to connect with. And so from there, I started focusing a whole bunch more on creating YouTube videos that were homemaker related. And the funny thing is, out of all the videos that I've ever done, those have always done the best. And I think that's really neat. And it shows me that there's desire and interest out there for this content. The really cool thing was that after I posted that video, my channel went from having like 250 subscribers that had taken me an entire year to try and wrangle into subscribing to me, to 500 in about a month. And so that doesn't sound like much, but for someone who has worked an entire year to try and get 250 subscribers, all of a sudden jumping to 500, and then I think the next month I was at like 700, and maybe like 2 months after that I was at about 1,000. It was just really, really exciting. And it was so neat too, because up until that point, I had been staying up 3 nights a week. Every night that my husband was gone at the fire station, I would stay up till about 1 in the morning, and I would find similar videos to my own, and I would go through and start commenting on anyone that had questions, and maybe the person hadn't answered that I'd actually posted the video, or anyone that I felt like would maybe be interested in my content, or would be able to find what I shared relatable, or maybe if they were interested in this video, they would be interested in mine. And so I was probably commenting on a couple hundred every single night, and out of doing all of that 3 nights a week up till probably 1 or 2 in the morning, I would get about 30 subscribers a month from doing this. And so to go from doing all of that work and staying up so late trying to build this channel, to then all of a sudden just getting all of this natural organic traffic for people that actually wanted to watch this video, it was so exciting and so rewarding after feeling like I had worked an entire year and had made myself look like a fool and really was nowhere close to where I thought I'd be. I really started focusing on homemaking videos, and this made it so much easier because I felt like I was so much more in my element as far as what it was I was passionate about and excited about, and what it was that I was trying to learn. And yet what's really fun is, as I go back and think about my mindset going into these videos, and I even think about who it was that I was trying to maybe appear like as I was filming these videos, I see how much this has grown me. And I also see how much my approach has kind of changed, and I'm really thankful for that, because starting out I wanted to act like I knew all the answers. I had the answers to creating the perfect home. I had the answers to decorating and all this stuff, and I felt like it was kind of fake because I didn't actually have the answers. And so I've really tried to change my approach, because I've realized, especially as I've listened to other people, they're not acting like they have all the answers, and that's exactly what makes me want to connect with them. And I feel like the whole process has kind of humbled me a little bit, and has taught me that you don't have to have every single answer in order to connect with other people. And in fact, sometimes I think we're looking more for just camaraderie. We're looking for people who can relate and can understand. And so I don't know if that's come across in my videos, but when I go back personally and watch, like, I think even my living room decorating video when we first moved into this house, just feeling like I needed to act like I knew things so people would want to watch these videos, I don't feel that way as much anymore. And I'm really thankful for that. I feel much more like I can sit down, or I can share on a video and feel like myself. So a couple of things, if you are maybe struggling in the area that I struggle with so much, of feeling like you don't have a clear direction, or you have maybe all these interests or creative outlets but you don't know how to turn them into anything. something really big for me that people would tell me, or that I would listen to in different business things, or that I would listen to in different podcasts, that I found so incredibly true once it actually happened to myself, was that you have to find an experience that you've had that makes you relatable to someone else. And for myself, that was my experience with just feeling insecure, staying at home as a homemaker, feeling like I appeared dumb, or like I was wasting my time, or like I wasn't building up a career like so many other women. And I realized that I had this experience, and because of that, now I'm able to relate to other women who have felt that way too. And it's so neat because every day I receive comments, or I receive Instagram DMs that are women saying the exact same thing, or that are saying, I feel so alone, or I thought I was the only one who experienced this, or, I told my dad that I wasn't going back to college, that I was going to stay at home with our 3-month-old, and he won't even look at me now, or he won't even talk to me, or he's so embarrassed about me. And so it's just been really cool how God he really truly can use those areas in our life that we go through that are not ideal, or that we don't really enjoy, or that are hard, but he uses those things to cause us to be able to relate to a group of people that if we didn't experience those things, we would never be able to accurately relate to. And that's completely how I felt like it's been with me. I've been able to, I don't even like to say it's me, because I feel like it's been God completely who's been able to direct me with giving me these different experiences, and then giving me these different insights and this change in view, that then I've been able to take that and go out and connect with other women that have felt like-minded. And I just think that's so neat. And so if you feel kind of directionless and purposeless, I would look at your life and look at what are some painful things you have gone through, or what are some things that you've experienced that you can maybe connect with other people on that could be beneficial. And it might not be the first thing you think of. Like when I lost my dad, I thought maybe this YouTube channel needs to connect with people who are going through grief, because it's something I can finally relate to. And it wasn't that for me. And I've never felt like that was the direction I was supposed to go. And it's definitely less of a painful thing, just speaking about insecurities as a homemaker and how mindset can change that. But it was much more of a topic I wanted to speak on long term than grief was. I don't know now. I started out this channel, like I said, wanting to build up an audience so that if I wrote a book, I would have someone to offer it to that might be interested in it. And I feel like I've totally changed my mindset from merely this business perspective to I have all of these relationships now with all of these women, with all of you women who are on a similar path, and we are here to encourage each other and build each other up in this, because we're bombarded every day with the message that what we do is not important and what we do is not valuable. And I'm here to say that's not true and to give a different message. And you all are constantly encouraging me, saying the same things back, and saying how much whatever it is that I've shared has encouraged you all. And that's so, so neat to me. And it encourages me and lifts me up and makes me feel once again like what I'm doing has value and purpose and meaning. And so, I don't know, one day I would still love to write a book. I know what it would be about. I've written parts of it already. I have drafts typed up of different things that I would want to include in it. But I don't feel like if I don't do that, that this channel has been a waste in any way. And I'm so thankful for it. And I'm so thankful for the way that God has used it. He truly has used it in my life. And I pray he's used it in your ladies' lives as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe someday I would have a book. I would be so excited and I would be so thrilled. But that's no longer my goal with this YouTube channel. It's no longer my goal. I view this much more as something I absolutely love doing. It's a hobby, but it's also a ministry, and it's also something I've felt incredibly called to. And it's a topic that in the last year and a half I've felt so much passion towards. And that's another thing. You're always told to, find the story it is that you need to share that makes you relatable to other people, and share that, and then make sure it's something that you're passionate about. And I didn't feel passionate about grief. I didn't feel like that was the area God's called me to speak to. And I didn't feel like, yeah, I know it's not the area that God's called me to speak to. Homemaking is definitely the area, at least for now. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to say. I appreciate all of you so much. I tell my husband all the time, I'm literally living my dream life in so many ways. Yes, I would love to eventually have a book written. There are certain things I would love to one day live in a little white farmhouse on a piece of acreage. But genuinely, I cannot believe that I'm able to do these things I've always dreamed of doing, and in totally different ways than I would have expected. I always wanted to be able to connect with other women. I always wanted to maybe host a small Bible study, or go through a book together with other women, or have a blog that I could connect with other women on and be able to write or communicate things that people read and they were like, that is how I feel, that is what I've experienced. And yet here is a way to break away from this, or a way to experience success in this, or a way to find purpose and fulfillment. I've always dreamed of that, and yet this is not at all the way I pictured that desire and that passion looking like or being fulfilled in. I think that's all I have to say. I hope this was an interesting story and not an extremely painfully dry and boring one. I hope that maybe it gave you some inspiration if you felt like me, very lost, full of passions, full of dreams, and yet not sure how to pursue them. I really want to encourage you guys. I look back and there are certain things that I'm like, why didn't I try harder? Why didn't I carry that ball to the end of the court so I could have experienced success in these different areas and these different things that I've tried to do? And yet at the same time, I don't wish that, because God has worked all things together for good, and He has used this, and because those other things failed, it's given me the time and energy to pour into this that I have found so incredibly fulfilling, and probably would have found more fulfilling than any of those other things that I wanted to do. And so in that way, yes, I wish that I was more the type of person that would just decide to do something and stick with it to the end. But at the same time, I feel very much like God used all of that, and used those different failures and those different times where I just felt so embarrassed, like all these people are watching me fail. And I still sometimes feel that way. Like, what if nothing becomes of all this? Or what if what I'm doing doesn't actually make a difference to people? And so it's the comments that I receive from you all that remind me that this is making a difference, and that this is of value, and that this is important. And so that's another reason why I'm so thankful for those comments, because it reminds me when I get down and I get discouraged at times, or things don't feel like they're going as successfully as I'd expected. And so maybe you have a trail in your past of things that you've tried that haven't worked as I do. And yet, stick with those. Yes, try your hardest, be dedicated. And yet at the same time, I think it is really important to just hold your hands open and allow God to take things out that He wants out, and put things in that He wants in your life, and to be willing to allow Him to do what He needs to do. So I hope that made sense. So anyway, I love you all so much. I'm so thankful for you all. It is because of you all, and it is because of God, that I have this camera in front of me and I'm able to share this story. And I hope it's encouraging to you, because thinking about it just stokes me and makes me so excited, and reminds me again and again of how truly blessed I am. So I'll see you all hopefully next week. And I have many more videos coming out soon that I am so excited about, that have to do with homemaking, but also are up a little bit of a different alley than we have been coursing in lately. So, all right, I will see you all later. Bye!